Les is the love of my life, and it was just really hard when the accident happened. But you just never know in a split second.
Before this accident, I was involved with a management company that renovated apartment complexes.
We were counterparts, so I work in the management marketing side, he works in more the operations side.
So, needless to say, very hands-on.
But our paths really didn't cross as far as working together until just a few years ago. And then I kind of admitted to him that I actually did like him. The rest was history. We had a long-distance relationship for a couple of years, but really the plan ultimately was for him and Chloe to move to Connecticut and us to all be together.
The accident. We were just in my backyard. Friends were over, kids were playing in the pool. I just started the fire to do some s'mores and went to take one last dive in a shallow pool and just didn't really work out for me. The friend that was in the pool that night was a firefighter, so he noticed once I came up things weren't right, and he immediately stabilized me, and we waited for the ambulance to come. So that was the last night that I was able to use my arms and legs.
So Les and I, before the accident, had so many things to celebrate. We just bought our new home. We were making plans for getting married, really just starting the second half of our lives as happy as can be. We had 44 days from the time we bought the house till the accident, and they were the best 44 days ever. Every night just would hang out with the kids and go in the pool and cook out and decorate the house, and really just, we were excited. We were, making this our home.
All right, so my injury. It's a C4. I had to fuse C4, C5 together. I spent 15 days at Bay State, and then we went to Spalding. I wasn't doing very well when we got to Spalding.
His doctor, she'd cry, and she said, "I'm so sad for you. He's really sick." And to the point I didn't know if he was going to make it. And when they told me he'll probably never eat, breathe, or talk on his own, and I said, "No." I said, "You don't know Les." And it was kind of one of those things, honey, I know, people, and they've seen bad things.
They actually kind of brought me off my deathbed, if you will.
A couple of days after the accident, we're in the intensive care unit, and Les has the tubes down his throat, so obviously can't talk. And we had this board that had letters and numbers, and so we'd say, okay, is the letter in row 1? And we'd keep going until we got to a letter. And I'm thinking, he just seems so anxious, to get this out. What is it? What is it? And he ended up spelling out, "Don't dive," or "no diving." And he kind of smiled, and I thought, it was such a relief for me, because I realized that he hadn't lost his sense of humor. That was a turning point, and that's when I started fighting and telling the doctors, "You don't know Les."
Spending some time at Spalding, we got to meet some really good nurses and aides that really kind of pulled me through the dark side. I was on a vent for about a month and a half.
How quickly, after he had the trach removed, he ate a cheeseburger the next day. They came in, they were trying to feed him pudding and, giving him sips of water, and then they come back in and I'm like, I hope it's okay, I got him a cheeseburger.
After that, we got shipped over to the other Spalding in Charlestown, and that's where the real kind of physical therapy started, with the occupational therapy as well. And so those folks there, with the equipment that they have, the state-of-the-art stuff, the outstanding people there at Spalding really kind of, brought me through and showed me that I can still have a pretty wonderful life.
Les was so inspiring, I think, even to the doctors.
So that's what we choose to do, is have a wonderful life. The hope was there.
Right after the accident, I figured we need to be married. I think more, for me, I feel like to show Les that I'm committed to him. I think that, You know, these types of accidents could make some people decide it's too much. And I think I wanted to show him and prove to him that he's stuck with me. He's stuck with me for life. A good friend of ours officiated the wedding, came and married us right there at the hospital. We got to be outside on the terrace at Spalding, looking over the Boston Harbor. It was just a beautiful day, October 13th, just a few weeks after he was in the hospital in Charlestown. It was quite the party, but it was really a small, intimate party, and we kind of knew we would have our reception once Les was home and we were settled. First night, I remember thinking, I don't know if I'm capable of taking care of him, and it was probably the longest night.
So while we were at Spalding, they had the Prism Hoyer lift, and we thought, wow, what a great idea if we could get this in our house. That's where the Travis Roy Foundation came in.
It was just such a process. There's different grants that are out there. When I came across the Travis Roy Foundation site, I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to spend hours. It took, honestly, probably 5 minutes. It was the easiest thing.
And within 2 weeks, we got a response back that they would take that on and purchase that Hoyer lift. Now what it does for us is it allows us to get in and out of the bed, in and out of the chair, in and out of the shower chair in minutes. So we use this lift at least twice a day, and most of the time 4 times a day.
Spalding gave us a lot of training. They definitely prepared us as much as they could for coming home and being able to use the equipment.
It saves time. It saves, I think too, it saves on my body, and it definitely saves on my wife, trying to get me in and out of bed. So for us, I think that was the most beneficial piece of equipment that we could have got.
Honestly, I can do it blindfolded now. I mean, really, it's such an easy piece of equipment to use.
With this lift, our quality of life has improved tenfold.
We'd be spending so many extra hours trying to get Les in the chair, and I know I physically can't do it on my own. So on behalf of Les and I thank the Travis Roy Foundation.
Gets us moving on with life. They've made our lives a lot easier.